Alright, go. So, good day everyone. So, welcome back to our topic. So, we are on the week 5 about the chemistry of life, the general classes of organic compounds. So, our lesson objectives explain why carbon is essential to life on Earth. Second, describe the structure and function of carbohydrates. And describe the structure and function of lipids, of proteins, and the nucleic acids. Alright, so for the introduction, so ano ba yung organic compounds? So organic compounds are chemical substances that, number one, make up organisms. Second, help organisms carry out life processes. And when we say organic compounds, consist of carbon and hydrogen. Alright? So yan ang meron sa organic compounds. Meron siyang carbon and hydrogen. And carbon is the major element, and without carbon, life as we know it would cease to exist. Now, so what's the significance of carbon? So according to this, so we have nearly 10 million carbon-containing organic compounds are known, and we have the different type of carbon compounds organisms, so include carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. So ito ang pag-uusapan natin mamaya. And the other one, the carbon can bond with a wide variety of other elements, forming a variety of very large and complex molecules. So nandito nga ang, aside from carbon, meron tayong hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, or can we call it as John. Alright, so let me use my pen. Yan, I will use my pen. So carbon can also bond to other carbons. It can be carbon, so single carbon, we have double band, and also pwede din tayo magkaroon ng triple band of carbons. Now, Mr. Johns Jacob Berzelius, he coined, okay, the word organic compound in the late 1807. So sa kanya tong organic compound, and also si Mr. Jacob Berzelius din, siya din yung mga nag-arrange ng mga names sa periodic tables ng, when we say arrangement, bukod pa yung kay Dmitri Ivanovich Mendeleev. So siya yung nag-arrange ng pagkaka-pattern. Pero dito, kay Johns Jacob, siya yung nag-categorize. So, for example, meron tayong mga element na single. Halimbawa, C, yan, H, O, N. So, siya yung nag-categorize. Single letter, meron daw letter na double. Double na magkasunod, like helium. Diba? Neon. Yan. So, mga ganun. Then, may mga element na Latin. For example, gold, AU, silver. So, siya yung nag-categorize. Isa din siya. And also, he coined the term organic compounds. The other one, so on the 4 classes of organic compounds, ang una nating tatawagin at pag-aaralan ay tinatawag natin siya as carbon. Carbohydrates. Ano? So, carbohydrates, this is our term. Tandaan natin the combination of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay? So, you have carbon, CHO, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The most common of the 4 major types of organic compounds. Yan. One of the 4. So, ano yung isa? So, mamaya malalaman natin ano yung isang major types ng organic compounds. And all consists of more smaller units called monosaccharides. So, isa sa 4 major types ng organic compounds ay ang carbohydrates. Okay, so all consist one or more smaller units called monosaccharides. And also, when we say carbohydrates, it is the energy sources. So, lagi natin tatandaan. It is the energy sources with structural units and the largest class of organic compounds found in organism. So as you can see, we have monosaccharide. So ano bang mga halimbawa ng carbohydrate? So as you can see on this picture, we have simple carbohydrate. We have fruits. Yes, fruits, milk, vegetables, cake, candies. Diba sabi, um, kain ng rice, kain ng bread, mataas yung carbs. So let us see. Kasi nga, energy sources sila. So meron tayong tinatawag na category, meron tayong tinatawag na a sugar made of one unit. So that is what we call monosaccharide. Okay? Or single unit or simple sugar. So we have monosaccharide. So ano example ng monosaccharide? We have fructose, glucose, and galactose. So ano yung fructose? So ito yung formula niya, C6H12O6. Pare-pareha sila. And sa matatagpuan ng fructose, fruits. Ano? Yes, merong sugar sa fruits. And that is the monosaccharide. Glucose, ito yung matatagpuan from digestion of other carbohydrates. So, glucose. The other one, the galactose naman, pwede natin ito magtagpuan sa milk. Galactose. The other one, we have what we called ribose. Yan, sa ribose naman, sa mga DNA, RNA. So, di ba, sa may mga attachment, di ba, we have phosphate, we have nitrogenous base pair, so naka-attach doon. Ano? So, on that our sugar molecules. So, ribose, di ba, deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid. So, ribose. The other one, we have disaccharide. If monosaccharide means 1, disaccharide means 2 or double or 2 units of sugar that join together. So example, we have the sucrose, lactose, and maltose. So we have the formula, same formula. We have C12, H22, and O11. So sa natin matatagpuan ng sucrose, table sugar. Alright? So table sugar, di ba? For example, magtitimpla ka ng kape, can I have a table sugar please? So yan, table sugar. So yung gagamit natin pag nagkakape. So sucrose pala yun. So 2, ano siya? Ibig sabihin, mataas talaga yung sugar content niya. The other one, we have the milk. Yan, lactose. Like lactum, no? Mga lactobacillus, yes. We have that milk. Matatagpan natin sa milk. And the other one is the maltose, malt, or the malt sugar. So mostly on the malt, I think Milo may malt siya. The other one, beers. Yan. Okay. Next, we have the polysaccharide. So polysaccharide, if mono is 1, disaccharide is 2, polysaccharide means a long chain of monosaccharides, meaning more or madaming 2 or more. Kaya nga poly. So, ano example? We have starch. Matatagpuan natin sa potatoes. And saan ito ginagamit? Used by plants to store energy. Okay? The other one, we have glycogen. Glycogen commonly found in the human liver and used by animals to store energy. Okay? Kaya tayo may mga energy. Cells and also in cells. So, cellulose. So, saan ito matatagpuan? Sa cell wall ng plant. So, used by plants to form rigid walls around cells. Diba sa mga plant? So, meron yung cellulose. So, our body, yung katawan natin, hindi natin ma-digest yung cellulose kasi wala tayong enzyme na cellulase. The other one, we have the chitin. So, chitin, matatagpuan natin ito sa exoskeleton of some insects. Ano? So, exoskeleton means nasa labas yung buto. Ano, for example, mga insects or yung mga example, madali ay mga shrimp. So, they mga lobster or crabs. So, in insects naman, mga beetles, salagubang, mga ganun. So used by some animals to form an external skeleton. So we have the chitin. So those are the polysaccharides. Oh, sorry. Okay. So the other one, okay, the other one we have, yeah, so the monosaccharide and disaccharide, simple carbohydrates. In a common monosaccharide, we have the glucose and fructose. So as you can see, so sabi dito, kahit sila ay same formula but different naman yung structure nilang dalawa, no? So asan yung pagka-different niya? So this one. The fructose may attachment but dito wala. The other one, two monosaccharides banded together form a disaccharide. So kapag may dalawang monosaccharide na nag-bond, magkakaroon ng mono ay disaccharide. So the other one, the polysaccharide is the complex sugar, meaning two or more monosaccharide. So as you can see yan, ganyan yung mga bonding niya. So that is a polysaccharide in a form of carbohydrates. So that is about carbohydrates. So as you can see, carbohydrates, anong composition niya? Anong merong element? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, or CHO. So anong function niya? Provide energy to living cells and form structural tissues. Ano? Bibigay sa atin ng energy, form structural tissues kasi sa mga exoskeleton. Example niya, glucose, fructose, sucrose, glycogen, and cellulose, monomer, monosaccharide, or parang basic unit. The other one, classes of organic compounds, this is what we call the lipids. So ano ba yung lipids? So when we say lipids, lipids contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So same as the carbohydrates, we have the CHO. And it includes substances such as fats and oils. So ito yung mga lipids. Ano? So anything na nagko-contain ng fats and oils. Kasi for example, di ba may mga nagda-diet na they don't eat carbs, yung mga rice, mga ano, pero they need energy din. Saan sila kukuha ng energy? Sa fats and oils. Ano? So ano yung monomer or parang pinaka-basic unit? Fatty acids and glycerol. Ano? So fatty acids, lipid molecules consist of glycerol and three fatty acids or three fatty acids. This one, three fatty acids and one glycerol. So this is the monomer or the basic structure ng lipids, and all lipids are hydrophobic. When we say hydrophobic, they are insoluble in water. Hydro means fear. Hydro means water. Phobic means fear, meaning takot sa tubig or hindi natutunaw sa tubig. Or insoluble in water. So, example, we have the saturated fats are found in animals such as the butter. Yan, so these are the example of lipids. The butter, cheese, whole milk, ice cream, yan. So, oils, coconut, yung mga ginagamit nyo pag nagluluto. So, trans fatty acids, yung mga sa fries, di ba? Yung oils dun sa fries. So, that's what I meant. And, yan. So, are these soluble in water? No. Alright? Kasi they are hydrophobic. So, types of lipids. Lipids may consist of fatty acids alone or in combination with other compounds. So, we have types of lipids. We have triglyceride, phospholipids, and steroids. So, ano ba yung triglycerides? So, triglycerides mean 3 fatty acids and 1 glycerol. The main form of stored energy in animals. So, this lipid commonly called fats. Ano? So, di ba tayo may mga fats? And that fats, so siya ay isang what we call the adipose tissue. So sa ating katawan, mahalaga din naman yung may fats kasi serve siya as our energy. No, for example, sa mga camel, yung camel kaya sila namumuhay, kaya matagal sila nabubuhay kasi nga meron silang adipose tissue or reservoir of fats. Doon nila kinukuha yung kanilang energy. The other one, we have the phospholipids. When we say phospholipids, these are the major component of membrane surrounding the cell of all organisms. Kasi in each cell, sa mga cell natin, in every organism of each cell, meron tayong phospholipids. So, yan, parang ganito. Yan. So, may mga, that is what we call the phospholipids. So, meron tayong, so from the word itself, the lipids. The other one, we have the steroids or the sterols. So, as you can see, yan, the cholesterol. Chole. Yan. And we have the sterol. So, an important part of cell membranes and plays other vital roles in the body. So, other steroids. So, mahalaga din, lipids for the male and female sex hormones. So, as you can see, pwede bang yung mga, di ba minsan bawal sa atin ng mga cholesterol? Yes, bawal. Pero, our body needs oils and fats din. Siguro yung mga healthy fats and healthy oils. So, yung mga oils na kahit lumamig, hindi siya namumuo. Mga ganong oils. Kapag magluluto. Like mga palm oil, kernel oil, olive oil. So, mahalaga din ang may oil or may high good or good cholesterol in our body. Why? Kasi pag nagpapaaraw ka, di ba pag nagpapaaraw tayo, we need vitamin D. Yan yung vitamin na nakukuha natin. And that vitamin D is kailangan niya ng precursor na oils or yung fats para ma-synthesize tong vitamin D or meaning ma-absorb ng katawan natin. Kasi meron tayong mga vitamins, meron tayong tinatawag na vitamin, yung addict. So, and also we have the vitamin, so ano bang wala dyan? Vitamin B and C. Okay, the vitamin B and C and vitamin addict or vitamin A, D, E, and K. So, meron siyang vitamins na soluble in water, meaning masisynthesize siya through water, and the other one is insoluble in water. So, meaning, hindi siya masisynthesize using the water, pero masisynthesize siya using the lipids. The other one, we have the saturated fatty acids. So, ano ba yung saturated fatty acids? When we say saturated fatty acids are solids at room temperature. The other one refers to the placement of hydrogen atoms around the carbon atoms. Because fatty acids, it belongs to a COOH group, and all the carbon atoms other than the C in the COOH group are bonded to two or more hydrogen atoms with single bonds, and they form straight chain. Example, this one, or example of saturated fatty acids. So as you can see, there's a long chain of carbon. Yan. And on that carbon, may mga naka-attach na hydrogen atoms. So we have the COOH group. So this one. And also when we say saturated fats or saturated fatty acids, these are the fatty acids have no double bonds. And that fats that include is what we call saturated fatty acids. And when we say saturated fats in a solid room, also it is bad for us. Alright, it is bad for us. So as you can see, for example, yung mga oils na nabibili natin sa tindahan, di ba minsan pag in a room temperature, minsan pag sobrang lamig or tumitigas yung mga oils. Kaya nga, minsan, that's not good in our body din, Meaning, hindi siya liquid pag nasa room temperature. Minsan yun ang nagiging dahilan ng arteriosclerosis, yung mga ganun. Or stroke. what other else? Yan, stroke, arteriosclerosis, na kung saan nagka-clog sa ating or nagkakaroon ng rupture in our blood vessels. Kasi nga, because of that cholesterol or hindi magandang fats in our body. The other one, we have the unsaturated fatty acids. So when we see unsaturated fatty acids, these are liquid at temperature. If saturated is solid, unsaturated naman is liquid in temperature. So as you can see, ano pinagkaiba nito? Ano pinagkaiba nito sa saturated? This one having a one or more double bond. Ano? So as you can see, it is a one or more double bond. Ano? So, maraming ba? Look at this. So, tatlo yung double band niya. Okay? Or this is what we call the polyunsaturated fatty acids. And also on that unsaturated fatty acids, that is a liquid in temperature and also good for us naman. Ano? Why? Kasi natutunaw or parang naano yung fatty acids niya. Ano? So, meaning, in a room temperature, ito yung nagiging liquid. Kumbaga, for example, kaya nga mas okay bumili kaya nga mas mahal yung mga oil like olive oil, palm oil, vegetable oil. Kasi sila ay hindi madaling ma-breakdown. Alright? Kasi nga mataas yung bonding nila. And also, hindi siya solid. Kumbaga, pag tinan mo, ilagay mo kahit sa magkaroon na malamig na temperature, ano pa rin siya, yung pagka-oil niya, oil pa din. Ano, hindi siya namumuo. Kasi yung bonding niya ay strong. Ano, hindi siya mabilis ma-break. And the other one, and saan ba matatagpuan yung unsaturated fatty acids? So, mostly in plants, kaya nga vegetable oil. The other one in the fatty tissues, such as nuts and seeds, di ba? Yung mga oils. For example, ano ba yung oil na galing sa nuts? Coconut, coconut oil. No, virgin coconut oil. And not all nuts are nuts. So, ano yung mga seeds? Sunflower seed oil, di ba? Yung mga ganon. Sunflower seed oil. So, saan pa ba? Sa mga rapeseed oil, yung mga mostly yung mga inaano sa mga shampoo, yung mga argan oil, yung mga ganun. So, those are the unsaturated fatty acids. And the function of fatty acids, number one, used for energy storage, to build the structure and signal molecules to help cells communicate with each other. And also, it's a waterproof covering. So, this one, so we have type of lipid, we have triglyceride, form stored in energy in animals, and vegetable oil, typically more unsaturated, ano? And animal fats, the saturated one naman. So, yung mga animal fats, so saturated fatty acids. Kaya nga yung mga taba ng baboy, yung mga chicken oil, matataas yung fats nila. Kaya nga, di ba, minsan, hindi recommended kapag yung mga high blood, hindi pinapakain ng mga matataba, mga baboy, or mga pwedeng kumain ng chicken, wag lang yung chicken skin. Ano? Kasi mataas yung saturated fats nila. Alright? Saturated, so form straight chains because carbon atoms are bonded to as many hydrogen atoms as possible. So these are solid at room temperature, and also animal use this to store energy. Ano kaya kung magpiprito ka ng baboy na may taba, huwag ka na maglagay ng mantika kasi nagmamantika na siya. Unsaturated fatty acids naman, so ito ay 2 or more hydrogen bonds. As you can see, may mga ganyan. So this one, yung mga ganyan, nagbaband sila. Pero this one, single. So dito, mostly found in plants naman. No? Like sa mga nuts. Nuts, yun. And the other one, we have the phospholipids, major component in the cell membrane, example in a liver or peanuts. The other one, we have the steroids found in plants, animals, and fungi. So the chemical messenger and have other roles. That's why sinabi nga natin na fatty acids is signal molecules to help cells communicate with each other. Alright? So mention signal molecules to help cells communicate with each other. The other one, we have the lipids diet. Ano? So example ng mga essential fatty acids, yung rich in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Example ay omega-3 in this canola oil, on the flaxseed, yan, sa mga seeds, and in the salmon, yan, like on that fish. So, mga rich in omega-3, that's a good for the heart, diba? Like in the century tuna, so that's a good for the heart. So, mga fish, rich in fatty acids, essential fatty acids. That's very good in our body. The other one, so as you can see, so lipids, anong kanyang composition? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Function niya, hydrophobic, ano? Or waterproof, or nonpolar, or insoluble in water. Form cell membranes, store energy. Ano? Kaya nga yung mga nagki-keto diet, so ito yun, dito sila nakuha ng energy. Kapag hindi sila nakain ng mga bread, mga rice, so dito nila kinukuha. Ano? Pero dapat, in our body, it should be balanced. So, fats, oils, waxes, and steroids. So, ito yun. These are the examples of lipids. We have glycerol, 3 fatty acids. So, that's the monomer or the building block. The other one, let's go on to proteins. So, ano ba yung proteins? So, proteins, sabi natin, di ba? In our body, mostly meat are rich in protein para pampalakas ng katawan or eggs. So, ito nga, yan, mga meats, yan, cheese, eggs. So, it contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So, dito na yung chon. Ano? Chon. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So, made smaller units. So, ano kanyang monomer or the building block is amino acid. We have 20 different amino acid make up proteins. And the small proteins can contain just a few hundred amino acids. Yes, a small protein, pwedeng 100 of amino acids. And yeast proteins average 466 amino acids, and the largest known proteins are the titans, found in the muscle, which are composed from almost 27,000 amino acids. So we have the function of proteins. Number one, essential part of all organisms that serve many functions. Number one, it provides scaffolding that maintain the shape of the cells. Diba? Kaya nga, high protein, parang low carb, high protein diet. May mga ganun. So, majority of muscle tissue, yan, make up the muscle tissue, diba? Sa body natin, pag nag-gym, high protein ka din dapat kasi baka mapunit or masira ang iyong mga muscle cells. So, some are enzymes that speed up chemical reaction. Yes, because it contains amino acid, and the other one help carry messages and material in and out of the cell. And on that proteins, so contains an amino acid. Proteins consist of chains of amino acids called peptides. So a protein may be made from a single polypeptide chain or may have a more complex structure where polypeptide subunits pack together to form a unit. And also, proteins used to build structure, catalyze biochemical reactions for immune responses, to package and transport materials, and to help replicate genetic material. So, alam naman natin that the amino acid ay isa ito sa Yan, this one. Amino acid can bond together to form short chain called peptides. Pag mahaba naman, more peptides called polypeptide. And kasi yung mga amino acid, pag kasi, di ba, para mayari ang isang protein, siya ay consisting ng polypeptide or peptide. For example, di ba, yun sa RNA na yung replication, transcription, translation. So, meron kasi siya, di ba, dinadala. For example, ito yun sa RNA. Yan. So, meron siya mga code. Yan. Di ba, sa central dogma. So, ito, meron tong isang amino acid. For example, cytosine, guanine. For example, cytosine, guanine, and guanine, cytosine. Yan. So, ito, CCG, meron siyang corresponding amino acid. And meron siyang name. So, yun ay magiging chain. Yan, magiging yan. Sama-sama yung mga amino acid na yan. So, that's what we call peptide. At pag maging mahaba yan, pag naging madami, tawag natin siya polypeptide. So, magsasama-sama yung mga amino acid na yan at makakabuo na isang protein. So, on that, kasi isa din pero lalabas muna siya to become a ribosome kasi that is one of the protein synthesis din. So, may mga corresponding name yan on that amino acid. So, for example, we have on that code, meron tayong phenylalanine, arginine, okay, methionine, mga ganun. So, ayun ay nagiging just to have a para magkaroon tayo ng protein. So, proteins and diets. So, ano-ano ba yung mga examples? We have the essential amino acids that we have to consume. And, yan. So, example ng protein ay yung protein in hemoglobin in blood, the collagen. So, collagen, para mas bumata tayo. Insulin, di ba, sa katawan natin in our pancreas, pag mataas ang blood sugar, nagre-release si pancreas ng insulin. Pag mababa naman ang blood sugar, nagre-release si pancreas ng glucagon. The other one, keratin, we have the protein in our hair and our nails, myoglobin, and fibrin. So, mostly, it's either in the blood or on the muscles din. So, protein, the composition, we have the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen or JON. Function, maintain cell shape, make muscle tissue, speed up chemical reaction, and carry messages. Example for enzymes and antibodies. Monomer amino acid, or the building block of protein is amino acid. Next, we have the nucleic acid. Ano ba yung nucleic acid? Nucleic acid, it contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. May kasama na siyang phosphorus. So, nucleic acids are found not only in all living cells, but also in viruses. Yes, may nucleic acids ang viruses. And the types of nucleic acids include we have the DNA and the RNA. Kaya nga, ribonucleic acid, Na. Ribonucleic acid, Na. So, ano pinagkaiba? So, the structure of nucleic acid consists one or two chain of nucleotides. So, it is our monomer. The nucleotides held together by chemical bonds. And each individual nucleotide unit consists of three parts. We have the base, or the nitrogenous base pair, kasi we have the adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. So, laging partners si CG or si cytosine and guanine at si adenine and thymine kapag DNA. Pag sa DNA. Pero kapag siya ay nag-RNA na, nagiging single na, ang malagi magka-partner ay si CG at si A, ang nagiging kapartner na niya ay si U or si uracil, during the RNA. And also, we have the sugar, kaya nga yun, sabi ko kanina sa carbohydrates, yung ribose. So, we have the ribose, the deoxyribose, nucleic acid, and the ribose or ribonucleic acid. So, meron din siyang carbohydrates. And also, RNA consists of single chain of nucleotides. Ito yon, single chain. And DNA consists of two chains of nucleotides. Ito. Kaya nga siya ay double helix. And the other one. So, what is the role of nucleotides? So, alam naman natin na bases are like letters, 4 letters. So, ito yung bilanggit ko kanina. And ito yung sinasabi ko na, for example, GUG, di ba? Ano yung G? Anong kapartner ng G? Di ba? Halimbawa, cytosine. Tapos si uracil, adenine. Tapos si guanine, cytosine. Yan. Tapos yan, di ba meron yung code? Kunwari, ito yun. So, ito siya. Tapos, ito yung protein or yung amino acid. For example, ano yung V? Valine? Yan. So, for example, ganun. So, yun ang kanyang, ito yung amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, nagiging polypeptide. Peptide. So, ito yung mga code niya para mabuo siya. So, yan. Each 3-letter code word represent a particular amino acid. And the protein, a particular set of amino acids from a specific protein. So, how are RNA codes per protein? So, magkakaugnay yan. So, from DNA to RNA, and that is the blueprint. Kaya ating DNA consists of, di ba, genes. Diyan nakatala yung ating, kung ano yung blueprint ng ating katawan or na ating buhay. Then, and RNA uses the information in DNA to assemble the amino acids and make the proteins. What are? So, nucleic acid, we have C, H, O, N, and P. John P. May phosphorus na. Pass on traits, genes. Okay? Code for amino acids. That is a code for amino acids. Diba? So, pag nagko-coding, para magkaroon ng amino acid, kailangan niya ng nucleic acid. Kasi, nandun si DNA and RNA. And ang kanyang building block, nucleotides. So, that's all. So, I hope you learned something about the classes of organic compounds. We have the carbohydrates. Hindi natin tatandaan, we have the carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and the nucleic acids. So that's all. Thank you. Bye-bye. May reference, Pybot, and the other one. Thank you.